Hello, I'm Edward October. Over the years, I've narrated more ghost stories, horror shows, and creepypastas than I can count. And yet, the crimes discussed on our true crime podcast managed to scare the shit out of me. This program is not suitable for children or the faint of heart. If you are such a person, go ahead and switch off this podcast. Listen to something else. Are you still with us? Well, we've warned you.
Hi, Jen.
Hey, Cam. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's finally October. My favorite month.
Our
favorite month.
Favorite.
Yes.
Yes,
Love
it is.
it.
Lots
Not
of things
just because it's our birthday, but yeah, I've always loved October.
My favorite. It's my favorite. It's pretty much my favorite ever and always.
Mine too. Right. And mine, this episode deals in October. It happens in October.
Wait. Well, let's hear it.
All right.
Don't keep us waiting.
Pumpkin spice season, or spooky season, as we call it, is often people's favorite time of the year. Relief from scorching summer temperatures arrives, and with it, a gorgeous blanket of orange, gold, and red color splays across the countryside. And in October of 2004, California's Napa Valley, home of America's wine country, was amping up to be a spectacular autumn. In one of Napa's cozy neighborhoods on Dorset Street, a house was decorated for Halloween like so many others, and in that house lived 3 women, friends who decided that it was wiser to pool their resources and live together than to live separately. It's a smart move. It's really expensive out in California, as we know.
Yes, it is.
And even though Napa had a low crime rate, it had been 2 years since there had been any kind of serious crime there. There was safety in numbers, right? Or so they thought. One of those women was Leslie Ann Mazzara, born in 1978 and lived most of her life in South Carolina. Leslie was, by all accounts, an outstanding person. She was a National Honor Society student in high school and attended Greenville School of Ballet. She was also a former beauty queen, and in every pageant that she competed in, she always made child abuse awareness and prevention her platform. This was after reading about a child who had died after being systematically abused by her father and stepmother. So advocating for children became her passion. Leslie worked hard to raise money to have the first cottage built in the Calvary Home for Children. Leslie worked as a legal secretary in Columbia, South Carolina, until she decided to go to California, where her mother lived. When Leslie's mother moved to California, she told her daughter, quote, "Maybe you can spend the summer pouring wine in wine country and just take a break." And that's what Leslie did. She headed to California. Once she arrived in the Napa Valley, Leslie fell in love with the community and the vineyards. She was hired as a concierge in the tasting room of Nebon Coppola Winery in Rutherford, California. And I think that's the director.
Yes,
Coppola.
it is. I've been there. It's beautiful.
That's his winery.
Beautiful.
And when she moved to California, she was at a crossroads in her life. She was unsure of which direction to go. However, working at the winery convinced her that she wanted to be a part of this wine industry for good. And so within 6 months, she was promoted to a sales and marketing assistant position. Leslie had found her niche. The second roommate in the house in Napa was Adriane Michelle Insogna. Born 1977, a native Californian, Adriane was outgoing and athletic. At 16, she was in a near-fatal car accident when her car rolled 3 times, and Adriane had to have reconstructive surgery on her face. She was not the type to be easily discouraged, nor could you dampen her spirit. A few months later, Adriane was back in school, still suffering from a temporary brain damage, but she eventually made a full recovery. Adriane played volleyball and softball and was a scout leader. She was an officer of the Society for Civil Engineers, attended Polytech in San Luis Obispo, and graduated with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Then she went to work as an engineer for the Napa Sanitation District. Adriane felt that giving back to the community was important and dedicated herself to doing just that. The third roommate was a woman named Lauren. I'm not going to give her last name for reasons. Now, Lauren had graduated from university with a degree in political science. She was also a talented, all-around athlete and employed as a volleyball coach at a community college. Lauren loved animals, and the 3 women and Lauren's Labrador retriever, Chloe, had only been roommates for about 4 months, but had quickly formed a very close friendship. So on Halloween night, all 3 women decided it would be fun just to stay home and give out Halloween candy to the mini trick-or-treaters in their neighborhood. As the haunted house audio tracks and black strobe light effects began to wind down in their community, the last of the ghosts, princesses, and pirates knocked on the door, asking for treats. And it was about 11 p.m. when the 3 women managed to get all the lights turned off and the doors locked. And in every way, it had been a typical Halloween night. And since it was Sunday and everybody had to work the next day, Adriane and Leslie went upstairs to their room to retire for the night, and Lauren, whose room was on the main floor and toward the back of the house, grabbed her dog Chloe, and went to bed. The place was quiet, and darkness crept into every corner, and the 3 women drifted to sleep. At about 2 a.m. in the morning, Lauren was awakened by the security light flipping on behind the garage. She didn't overthink it because Adriane's cats would often get out of the house and set the lights off. But then she heard her dog give a warning bark. You know, those kind of...
I do.
Mm-hmm. Lauren quieted her dog, but within minutes she heard someone entering the house and going up the stairs. And in that half-asleep, half-awake plane of existence, Lauren wasn't entirely sure what she was hearing. So she sat up and listened. A few nights earlier, Leslie's boyfriend had come over after everyone had gone to bed and woke Lauren up from her sound sleep. So, for the time being, she thought that was happening again. Maybe Leslie had just forgotten to mention that her boyfriend would be coming by. She made a mental note to say something about it the next day and snuggled back into bed to go to sleep. Only her dog Chloe was a bit anxious. She quieted the dog down and dozed off. And that's when she heard a blood-curdling scream. She opened the door to her bedroom, stepped 1 foot out into the hallway, and heard more screaming. Lauren was frozen in fear. Then she saw a male figure flying down the stairs, breaking things as he went. What should she do? Should she run away? Should she stand and fight? Her mind just couldn't form a cohesive thought. Finally, when her fight-or-flight mechanism kicked in, Lauren grabbed the dog and ran outside. And in her panic, she went the wrong way and ended up surrounded by a 6-foot fence in the backyard. And there was no way to get her out of there. And she said she felt like she was in some sort of horror movie. Lauren hid in the bushes as best as she could, and she heard the intruder struggling with the kitchen blinds in the front of the house. Then all she could hear was Adriane's anguished cries for help. Finally, after a few minutes, she thought it was safe to go back inside. And as soon as she entered the house, she heard Adriane scream for help upstairs. Lauren tried calling 911 from the cordless phone, but discovered the lines had been cut. And she ran up the stairs to find Leslie and Adriane had been brutally stabbed. Leslie was dead, face down in a pile of clothes with stab wounds all over her upper body and arms. But Adriane was alive, crouched down against her bed, but she could no longer speak. She was rapidly bleeding to death. Lauren turned to get her cell phone, but slipped on all the blood smeared in the floor. Hysterical and still terrified for her own life, Lauren finally descended the stairs, got her cell phone, and managed to call 911. And then a terrifying thought gripped her. What if the intruder was still somewhere on the property? Or what if he realized that he'd left one of them alive and was going to return to finish her off? So Lauren jumped in her car and drove away from the house while talking to the 911 operator. Smart girl. The police and ambulance arrived at a gruesome scene. One of the police officers actually had to go back outside because she got sick. Lauren's assessment was correct. It was too late for Leslie, but Adriane was clinging to life. And as her life continued to slip away, Adriane could not communicate further. And unfortunately, Adriane passed away in the ambulance en route to the hospital. The police immediately went to work. Blood was found and ultimately DNA on the outside wall beneath the kitchen window, along with fibers and blood on the stairs and hand railing inside the house. Investigators believe those samples belonged to their killer. They also found 3 cigarette butts on the property outside the home that didn't appear to have, nor did they seem to have, been there very long, which was interesting because none of the 3 women smoked. This indicated to investigators that the killer had probably sat outside watching the house the night of the murder until he was sure that everyone was asleep. Inside the house was a nightmare. The floor was soaked with blood, and police felt that Leslie Mazzara was the intended target because she had been killed first. Also, the killer hadn't stuck around to ensure that Adriane was dead, but he did make sure, in the police's line of thinking, that Leslie was dead. the scene was so gruesome that the police took ladders to look into the window before they actually went in to investigate because it was just so horrible. Yeah. They didn't want to walk through. They wanted to
prepare it a little bit too.
Yeah. They didn't want to mess the scene up. So Leslie became the focus of the investigation almost immediately. So much so that reporters showed up in Napa Valley months later to do an episode for their TV show. And when they did, they focused on Leslie and her life. It was almost like Adriane was an afterthought. They felt Adriane had simply been at the wrong place at the wrong time. Even the newspapers had headlines like "Slaying of Former South Carolina Beauty Queen, Still a Mystery," or "Mazzara Killing Still Puzzles Police," and "Napa Police Still Looking for Leads in Mazzara's Case," right? Leslie was completely left out. Whether it was because police honestly thought she was the intended target, or if the, quote, "slaying of a beauty queen" just made better headlines, we don't know. However, the media coverage and the police investigation focused solely on Leslie, while completely leaving Adriane out. The police scrutinized Leslie's life, talking to everyone who knew her. Now, Leslie Mazzara had it all. She had brains, personality, and looks, and she was never in need of a date for any event. Men were drawn to her natural beauty, wide smile, and southern draw. Even men she wasn't dating would buy her gifts for no reason. In fact, at the time of her death, Leslie was dating 2 different men. Although she felt a little more serious about one of them, he wasn't ready to commit. Investigators thought that maybe one of the boyfriends became enraged and killed her over what he would see as betrayal. But both men were questioned, they both gave their DNA, and they both eventually were cleared. Leslie had also garnered somewhat unwanted attention from the father of one of her ex-boyfriends. He would call her often, and even called her numerous times on the day of the murder. However, police soon learned that the father and ex-boyfriend were both in South Carolina at the time of the murders, so they were cleared. Leslie's hold over men was such that an old boyfriend from 5 years ago had recently emailed her, trying to make contact again because when they had dated, he'd been sure that, quote, he was going to marry that girl. There had also been a handyman in the house earlier that week, but the handyman had a rock-solid alibi, and he was cleared. They also questioned Adriane's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Christian, and he was eventually cleared through DNA. In the meantime, the DNA evidence came back from the blood on the stairs, and the wall matched the DNA on those cigarette butts from outside the house. It also matched the DNA on a rubber band that held a batch of zip ties together. The killer had dropped the zip ties inside the house the night of the murder without realizing it. However, the DNA did not match any DNA in the national database. Their killer was an unknown. And while residents and the media began to worry that maybe there was a serial killer in Napa Valley, police were confident that this had been a targeted attack. Altogether, investigators gathered over 200 pieces of evidence at the scene, 71 of which would be pertinent to the case. They did a fabulous job gathering and testing everything the killer left behind. But as is often the case, the DNA evidence is only good if there's something to compare it to. And this killer wasn't in any database. However, the police decided to try new technology called phenotyping. We know phenotyping.
We do.
For those that don't, phenotyping is when scientists can determine the physical appearance of an individual based solely on their DNA. So police sent the suspect's DNA off to be analyzed. And when the results came back, it said that their suspect was of Northern European descent with light-colored hair, blue or green eyes, and light skin. So this gave investigators an idea of who they were looking for. But still, there were an awful lot of fair-haired, blue-eyed males in Napa Valley. Months passed, and police interviewed over 1,300 people and gathered 200 DNA specimens, but those leads went nowhere, and a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest. But nothing came through. Friends and family of Leslie Mazzara coordinated fundraisers and donated money to have other cottage. Friends and family of Leslie Mazzara coordinated fundraisers and donated money to have another cottage built at the children's home in her name. Finally, the investigators came back to the cigarette. The brand was Camel Turkish Gold and had only been on the market for 4 months at the time of the murders. They asked Lauren if she knew anybody close to the girls who were smokers, and at first her brain was total mush, as you would be, right? I mean, if somebody would come up to me and say, "Who do you know that are smokers?" But Lauren was still very much in shock and pretty much in fear for her life. She kept asking herself questions like, did he mean to kill her too, or had he just not realized she was in the house? And if he had also meant to kill her, then was she safe? He could be coming back for her at any time. In the meantime, a friend of Lauren's made an appointment with 2 psychics, Marty and Michael Perry. Marty was an artist who claimed to sketch whatever the spirits showed her. She said she gets images of people on the other side. Marty described the feeling as, quote, being in control, but I'm not. Michael Perry claimed to channel communication from the beyond. He explained it as a vessel where a deceased person communicates with a living person. It's like, quote, conscious possession, he said. Now, during this session with Lauren's friend, Michael Perry fell into a trance and began to speak. Quote, I have 2 people here. One says, my first name is A. She's talking about a party. They say their life was taken. I can feel stabs up around my neck, like my neck's cut. Murder, they're saying murder. The psychics were 400 miles from Napa Valley, and Lauren's friend did not give the Perrys information about why she was there. After Michael came out of his trance and learned that his client was a friend of one of the girls who survived the attack in Napa Valley, he immediately wanted to meet with her. Lauren told Detective Kirk Primo about her friend's meeting with the Perrys. Detective Primo didn't scoff and told her that he was really open to try anything to help solve this case. So, in a phone interview, Lauren talked with the Perrys while Detective Primo was there consulting. Marty drew what she saw from the other side as the interview occurred. Michael told Lauren that Adriane was coming through more clearly than Leslie. Quote, she's the talker, he said. Having a very analytical mind and being incredibly intelligent, Adriane taking charge even from the afterlife didn't surprise Lauren. Now, through Michael, Adriane told Lauren that if she had stayed, she would have been killed too, which is pretty bone-chilling. At one point, Michael said that Adriane told him about the police officer who had to excuse herself from the crime scene to go outside to get sick. Now, that tidbit of information hadn't ever been released to the public, and the only people that knew about it were the ones that worked that crime scene. Not even Lauren knew about this, and when Lauren questioned Detective Primo about it, he said that, yeah, it really did happen. Lauren and Detective Primo both got goosebumps, because how could the Perrys have known that information? There's no way. In the meantime, Marty finished drawing the image that she claimed Adriane and Leslie were sending her from the other side. They emailed the image to Lauren, who didn't immediately recognize the man. One thing that did stand out was his goatee. Lauren said he looked familiar to her, but she just couldn't identify him. When the Perrys went to Napa for an in-person interview with Laura and Detective Primo, the Perrys again hit gold. And while channeling Adriane from the beyond, Michael suddenly turned to Lauren and said, quote, who's Lily? The only Lily that Lauren could think of in connection with Adriane, or any Lily at all for that matter, was Adriane's very best friend. Lauren had met Lily for the first time a few years before when she lived across the street from Adriane. But what on earth would Lily have to do with the murder of Leslie and Adriane? Lauren couldn't fathom that Leslie or anybody related to Leslie could have been involved in the murder of her roommates. Now, Lily was the type of friend that Adriane could spend hours discussing everything with. On the 10th anniversary of the car accident that nearly claimed Adriane's life, the 2 women went out to celebrate. Adriane called the anniversary, quote, the day I was supposed to die. The 2 women who worked together had begun to make cursory plans to visit Australia. And like so many female friendships, their conversation often circled around their romantic interests. Lily had been engaged to her high school sweetheart, Eric Koppel. They had been engaged for years, but she had postponed the wedding. Some believed it was to make the trip to Australia, but others think it was because Adriane had convinced Lily that Eric really wasn't the guy for her. But why would the psychic pick up on Lily, since it was universally believed that the target of the slaying was Leslie? Lauren and Detective Primo set this information aside. Maybe Adriane was trying to get a message to her best friend Lily from the beyond. Neither seemed to think that it was anything pertinent to the case, even though Lauren remembered that Lily and her boyfriend smoked. The Perrys visited the house on Dorset Street, and Michael would tell the police where the blood evidence of the killer was found on the banister and on the stairs and on the outside of the house, and he immediately went to the room in which the murders took place, and he knew exactly where the girls had been found. Michael claimed that Adriane told him that Leslie had been stabbed first, and he felt strongly that the killer was not a stranger. But before they left the house, Michael said that Adriane kept referring to, quote, the boyfriend. Detective Primo, who was part of a list of rotating investigators, was about to get his next assignment on rotation. So this meant that his work on this case was ending, and it would be taken over by the next cycle of detectives, which I find so odd, right? You would think that you'd have a detective
stay on
that case until it's solved, right?
Maybe bring more people in.
Right, but not just like work it for a couple months and then yeah, I just think that's weird. So Detective Primo wrote his notes and added Lily's boyfriend, Eric Koppel, to the list of things to follow up on. However, the new investigators never followed up on Eric once Detective Primo moved on, most likely because the focus was still on Leslie. So, Cam?
Yes?
The other day, I was sitting around and I was reminiscing about how much fun we had in college when we would go down and play bingo.
Oh, wow.
We always had a blast, didn't we?
We really did.
Yeah, in fact, I was feeling so nostalgic for that I went and downloaded the game Bingo Bash.
No way.
Yep, and little did I know that not only it's so much fun to play, but it's also one of the top free bingo games available to download.
Oh my gosh, Jen, you're going to die. Guess what? I've been playing that game for a while now.
No way.
Absolutely love it.
That's amazing.
There's so many different bingo rooms with unique themes and so many unlimited twists on the basic bingo game.
Yep.
I mean, I cannot wait to get to the one called Case Closed. Have you heard that one?
Ooh, no. Tell me more.
So, that's perfect for us because true crime related and all that. In this game, you uncover hidden secrets.
Ooh, I love a good hidden secret.
Ooh, don't we all? Plus, I love how each room has a mini game where you can get rewards that help you bingo faster.
Oh, those mini games really help me level up.
They really do.
And I'm telling you, Bingo Bash came in handy this weekend when I was out shopping for a homecoming dress with my youngest.
Oh, I do.
It helped me pass the time because you know how she is. She was playing Goldilocks, in those dressing room for hours. I'm telling you, this dress is too short. This dress is too long. But anyway, I don't want to brag, but I've only been playing for a few days and I'm number 3 on the leaderboard. That's right. So I challenge all of our listeners. I want you to go download the game today and try to get me off number 3. I bet you can't do it.
Oh, I bet I can. And I'm going right now.
No.
You're done.
Nope. So all of our listeners, please go download Bingo Bash today on iOS or Android devices and enjoy the 200 chip welcome bonus that's going to help you kick off your bingo adventure. Come on. You guys got to do it. Promise me.
It is fun.
Yeah. Download Bingo Bash for free today on Google Play or Apple Store and join the bingo fun. In the wake of her best friend Adriane's death, Lily had decided that life was just too short, and she decided to go ahead with the wedding to her long-term boyfriend, Eric. Lily gave Adriane special recognition at her wedding by having Adriane's mother, Arlene Allen, attend the ceremony and do a reading. They also played Adriane's favorite song at their wedding. Fast forward months later, in September of 2005, the police decided to release the brand of cigarettes that were found at the crime scene. They hoped that somebody would come forward with the name of a white male who smoked the Camel Turkish Gold cigarettes and who would possibly have a connection to the victims or had been injured around the time of the murders. The killer left his blood at the crime scene, so clearly he had been wounded during the attacks. It finally snapped, and investigators realized that Eric Koppel smoked the Camel Turkish Gold cigarettes. And he was blonde and blue-eyed and clearly of European descent. And also, he had a goatee. On September 27th, before the police could pick him up for questioning, Eric Koppel walked into the police station with his wife, supported by several other family members, and turned himself in. He realized it was only time until the police zeroed in on him. Eric Koppel confessed to the murders, and his DNA matched the DNA recovered from the crime scene. While the psychics seemed to have pinned the tail on the donkey, really about, nobody could understand why Eric Koppel would want to kill Adriane and Leslie. Leslie had never even met Eric Koppel. Most everyone, including Lauren, thought that he was just a quiet guy. They didn't get any menacing vibes from him. However, that wasn't the case for Adriane. Apparently, Adriane saw a little more. She felt that he was antisocial, and he made her uncomfortable. She felt that her best friend could do so much better. And whether or not Adriane actually convinced Lily to break up with Eric or postpone the wedding is up for debate. But Eric certainly felt that she was responsible for all his relationship problems with Lily. Eric and Lily ended up at the same Halloween party the night of Halloween. There, Eric tried to reconcile with Lily, and instead they fought, and Eric got really drunk. He claimed he became so enraged and intoxicated that he headed to Adriane's house to kill her. And in his mind, she was the whole problem. If Adriane didn't exist, everything would be all right. And so he waited for the women to finish giving out Halloween candy and go to sleep. He had hours to change his mind while outside her house smoking cigarettes, and he had hours to calm down. But he didn't. He went into the house, up the stairs, and killed Adriane and Leslie. Investigators were still confused as to why he killed Leslie first. Several hypotheses have been put forward. Some think that Leslie heard him coming up the stairs and she possibly called out to him, or she opened her door, and he had to kill her first before she woke Adriane. Some think he mixed up the rooms and thought Leslie's room was Adriane's. Either way, when Adriane heard what was happening, she came to her friend's aid and went down the hallway to investigate the noises. Like Lauren, maybe she thought Leslie had a boyfriend over again and would ask her to quiet down. It was then that Eric attacked Adriane, but Adriane fought back and screamed. And as for Lauren, she wasn't his focus, so he either saved her for last or had no intention of killing her, or quite possibly forgot that she was even there. Either way, when Adriane began to scream, he realized he'd lost the element of surprise, and it was likely that neighbors would hear her, so he just left as fast as he could, leaving Lauren alive. Aside from lying in wait, having hours to talk himself out of committing murder but still going through with it, the fact that he cut the phone lines is a chilling aspect to this case. He wanted to ensure that if he had to leave before the women died, that they would have no way to call for help and just bleed out from their injuries. Eric lived only 2 miles from the house on Dorset Street. He made it home without being detected. He burned his clothes in a fire pit, and then he went about his life as if he hadn't just killed 2 wonderful human beings. Eric grieved right along with the family and friends as he attended funerals and vigils, all the while being there to support Lily. He even acted completely normal at his wedding, knowing that at least one of his victims' parents was in attendance. Eric behaved perfectly normal as Adriane's favorite song played and people cried. The murder of Adriane had gotten Eric precisely what he wanted. He had his Lily back. Eric Capo pleaded guilty to the murders of Adriane Insogna and Leslie Mazzara. He claimed that the recent death of his grandfather had plunged him into a rage-filled depression. Adriane and Leslie had been murdered in the wee hours of November 1st, which had been the original wedding date for him and Lily. He claimed it was just way too much for him to handle. And Eric was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. At his hearing, Lily surprised many people when she said in front of a courtroom that days before Eric confessed, sensing that something was wrong, she told him, quote, "Nothing you could do could make me love you less." And then she added, "Those words are just as true as they are this afternoon."
Ugh.
Lily stood by her man for a while, but eventually she did divorce him.
Oh, Lily.
Nobody can say if Eric Koppel would have been apprehended or arrested sooner if the police and the media had given equal attention to both victims. However, if the focus on Leslie, the beauty queen with all the boyfriends, hadn't been thought to be the target of the killer's rage, maybe evidence would have been overlooked, or perhaps some other avenues could have been looked into. Eric had time to gaslight his girlfriend completely. Enough time to have wormed his way back into her good graces, into Lily's good graces, altering her life forever. And in the end, Eric Koppel failed what he set out to do, because what the murder of Adriane Insogna achieved was to show that Adriane had been right about her best friend's boyfriend. Her spidey senses had hit right on the mark. So, with this case, I don't know. One thing's for sure, there was really good police investigation in this case. But gotta wonder, the psychic, if you believe in the psychic abilities or not, the psychics really seem to get a lot of things right without having any preconceived ideas about the case or the victims. And normally, I don't like to add like the psychic part in a case like this. But
Just
it's kind of,
interesting,
it's
kind
very
of.
interesting. It is, Halloween time. So we just thought we'd add it in. But it is really interesting that they would get so much right,
Well, then you think, where's it a fluke? Coincidence versus, I don't know.
I know. You got it. It makes you wonder. Ooh, makes me wonder. But seriously, it's pretty. And the case really reminded me of what's going on in Idaho, too.
Really? How come?
People survived. The ones that lived in the one that lived in the downstairs room survived. The two were brutally attacked by, you know what I mean? It was just, to me, it had the same feeling as the Idaho murders.
Interesting.
So
I did not connect that.
Yeah, that's when I first came across this. That's what I thought of. The girls by themselves. The one saw somebody but left. That's just what it reminded me of. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe other people thought that too.
It's not just you. It's not just you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know when you listen.
But if there is, this is on an episode of Psychic Investigators. You can find it on Amazon or Discovery Plus. So you can see what Marty and Michael look like. They are on there and interviewed. And it's just pretty interesting. And then, like I said, I normally don't include the psychic part of it because it is so questionable.
What's the name of the show again?
Psychic Investigators.
I may or may not be checking that out today.
Yeah. And it's, I think it's Halloween Horror is the episode or something like that. I don't know. It was just interesting. It really, it struck me as very interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Who's to say, Jen? I don't know.
And I also thought it was interesting because last week we spoke to Jennifer from I Talk to Ghosts and we both had a psychic reading. She is a medium, right?
Yes. And our dates, we don't know who's when. Who is when, who's who, when's where. You know what I'm saying.
Yep. But one's going to air this October 6th and the other one will air on the 13th. Cam's is probably a lot more interesting than mine because I couldn't really divulge family secrets without being kicked out of the family. Can I
You're not
say
supposed
that?
to say that here. No.
Yeah. But anyway.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah.
You were not
But
going
it's
to anybody's
interesting.
house for Christmas.
It's very interesting. It was eye-opening. So, what about you?
I loved it. I thought it was super fun. I think I'm a little bit too excited and because I'm a giant nerd.
That's
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
Did she pick
So
up on that? I mean, that's pretty easy to tell.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, I asked her, one of my things that I always think about with psychics is that they meet you and they close their eyes and they're like, okay, I'm going to read to you. And then they look at you and they go, ah! It scares them and they're they see something bad and you're like, okay, I'll talk to you later. That's what I always think. And I asked her, I said, do you ever get that feeling with people? Because that's what I would be every time. Yeah, that's what I think somebody would do to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You get up there and she's like, no, that's never happened. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I believe you, but okay.
Well, I would think that if they did that, I don't think that it wouldn't be very moral of them to say anything.
Well, it wouldn't, but what if you were just shocked that you saw something that you weren't expecting to see? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
either.
But it was a lot of fun. Jennifer is an absolute doll. You need to go. We're going to run her promo at the end of this episode.
Yes, we are.
And we really think you'll like it. The first part of her show is just scary stories that she reads. And she has a great voice for podcasting. And then the last part is she usually does some kind of reading for someone.
I think she's very professional.
She is very professional.
She came across professional. And here I am just nerding, geeking out because I was excited to have this taking place. So
right. She is.
There you go.
She's a wonderful person. I really enjoy her. She's very sweet and very nice. So I would totally.
It makes some great October listening for new podcast people.
October and beyond.
Well, yeah.
So,
to get you in. It's a good way to
get you into the season. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
There you go.
In my head, I always know what I'm saying. I just don't know if it comes out that way. Probably not.
But everybody, like I said, it's a really fun show. It's very interesting. I'm still on the fence about psychics and everything. I'd like to believe they're real. Mm-hmm. I do believe Jennifer hit on a bunch of stuff for me. And I know she hit on a bunch of stuff for you. Mm-hmm. But I still have that, I don't know.
So I was thinking.
I want to believe.
I know, right? There's a show on Netflix called Extraordinary. It's really cute. It is cute. Little Lindsay Jane turned me onto it, and she made me watch it. It's kind of funny. But the basis of it is that on your 18th birthday, every person gets a superpower. And like, it had a lot of superpowers. I know it sounds dumb, but it's a comedy. It's pretty funny. But this poor little girl, she's like 26 and she's never gotten her superpower. So that's kind of what the whole thing is. But as we're watching that, I was like, I think my superpower, I would like to talk to dead people. Like, I would like to see, like you could help solve crimes. You could help family members. And I was like, that would be an amazing, because it was like they had a bunch of superpowers or special that it had never occurred to me. Because, everybody wants to be invisible. They want to fly. They want to stop time. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And this one has a whole bunch of different ones. And I was like, I think that would be, so I don't know. But then I thought about you'd fight your life telling people, because they were like, we don't believe you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you really could talk to people that have passed.
I think it's just a very comforting thing to know that your loved ones never really go away. Does that make sense? They're never truly gone.
You got somebody watching over you all the time a little bit.
Exactly. So I think that would be that would be a good superpower. I would also to talk to animals. I think that would be right up my alley. But let's see, what I would probably get would be like, I don't know, devouring entire birthday cake in 2 seconds or something stupid like that. That's what I would get.
So, and there's some that are like this, and she found a stray cat, and I was like, that's a person, isn't it? That's a person, isn't it? And it takes a while, but it is a person. And that is pretty funny because like they're young and they get the power and they can't really, you know what I mean? It's just funny. So yeah, it's cute though if you want to check it out.
And what's it called again?
It's kind of different. Extraordinary. Or extraordinary, depending on how you want to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just kind of cute. And it's kind of fun to watch because like you'll see, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of fun to watch because like you'll run across these people and, and then they're doing something and you're like, oh, okay. Like the one guy's walking down the road with his phone. His phone is just floating in front of him. So he's like watching something, but like, you know what I mean? So I guess I don't know. He has the power to like make things float or whatever. You know what I mean? So he's like walking down the street and the phone's in front of him. Nobody's holding the phone, but he's like watching something as he's walking. It's just funny to like watch and see what things you can pick up on.
Gotcha.
In the show. There you go. That's what I was trying to get to.
Awesome.
But anyway, good job, Jen. I can't believe it's October. I cannot believe 2023.
I know.
I know we talked about this, but I swear to goodness, the older you get, the faster the years go.
It does.
I can't believe it.
I know.
I mean, I remember going, wow, it's January 2023. Who would have thunk? Now we're on the backside of knocking on 2024's door.
We're getting ready to start recording our 12 Nightmares Before Christmas special. And
yes, we are.
Yeah. So it's end of the year. End of the year coming.
It's weird.
Unreal.
Anyway, it is unreal.
But anyway, we're going to play the promo of I Talk to Ghosts by our friend Jennifer. And like I said, our episodes will be on October 6th and October 13th, which is the perfect spooky day, the 13th of October. We don't know which one's going to be which, but you should like and subscribe so you can listen to me, so you can listen to both.
One of us is a dork, and I bet the other one is more professional, and you can be the choice. You can make the decision.
I think we're both kind of dorks. So
I don't know, though. I was like...
Awkward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got
more issues than National Geographic.
Calm.
I don't know what to say about that.
I don't get very excitable. That's for sure.
You don't?
No,
I do.
I don't. That's from my father's side.
Fact, I think I said I feel like a kid at Christmas. I think I said that on her podcast. I swear to God. And I was like, all excited.
Like I said, as soon as Jennifer started saying stuff, I'm like, oh gosh, there's going to be some stuff that I can't say on the air, or I will be kicked out of the family.
All these people now are going to want to know. See, maybe we should do something for the Patreon to do on that one, right? Because everybody's going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. It was interesting. She hit on a lot of things. So listen to the promo. Like and subscribe to I Talk to Ghosts. It's a good podcast, and Jennifer's got a great voice. So
she does.
Good bedtime listening.
Good nighttime. Spooky, spooky time.
Exactly. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got.
That's all I got too, Jen. Remember, lock your doors.
Keep passing by those open windows.
Bye-bye.
Love ya. For more information about this episode, as well as all other sources, please check out our show notes or the podcast website at ourtruecrimepodcast.com. Our True Crime Podcast is developed and created by the hosts, Jen and Cam. Original music and audio mix of all our True Crime Podcast episodes is courtesy of Nico Vertesi from We Talk of Dreams. You can reach Nico at wetalkofdreams.com. Listener discretion is provided by Edward October from OctoberPod VHS. You can find all of his great works on YouTube. Please make sure to like and subscribe to our True Crime Podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. We can be reached on Instagram and Facebook at Our True Crime Podcast or on Twitter with the handle at Our True Crime Pod. You can also email us at ourtruecrimepodcast@gmail.com. We would also at this time like to thank our patrons. We would be so lost without you. Thank you so much. And if you would like to help support the show, you can check us out on patreon.com/ourtruecrimepodcast. You can also show your support by leaving a 5-star review on Apple or simply just tell your friends about us. It's that easy. Love ya.
Looking for a hauntingly unique podcast this spooky season? Listen to I Talk to Ghosts for chilling ghost stories, genuine in-studio medium readings, and a virtual seance table where the spirits have an opportunity to speak directly to you. Find I Talk to Ghosts on all the fine podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Happy haunting.